everyone, I'm Allie. Join me as I show you a technique to make this nice swirl leaf drop necklace. You can do this with so much more than leaves, so don't limit yourself to just the leaves. You can do it with crystals, with daggers, with lots of fun different Potomac picks. This utilizes some seed beads in a right angle weave style to do a nice color section along with just a beaded section on the back. Finish up with an infinite clasp. If you need any supplies, go ahead and look below the video in the description, and there will list all the materials out for this particular necklace, as well as links to get back to choose your own materials to make your own swirl leaf drop necklace. Gather up your materials and let's get started. So this video is really fun and funky. It uses these check drop leaves here in a bright color selection and swirl. It's really a great kind of fall tone. We're going to be using 5mm and 6mm rounds along with 15s and 11/0 seed beads. Lots of change ups can be done for this. I like the 5 and the 6 just for the size variation, and these are just the Potomac picks in the dark blue and then also that jet travertine. All right, so to get started, we are going to begin with one of our 5mm rounds. You can use 2 5s, you can use 2 6s, you can use 2 4s. It's really up to you. And I'm going to start with 1, 2, and 3 11/0 seed beads, followed by one more of that same check round, followed by 1 and 2 11/0 seed beads. So first thing I picked up 3. The second one I'm picking up 2. 2 is going to be at the top of the design, and I'm going to take my needle and thread back through that first 5mm bead as well as through the next 3 seed beads, away from that stop or that starter bead. You'll notice I only have a small section of thread. That's just so it doesn't take as long to pull it all the way through, but I would suggest about 5 feet of size 8, the thick dragon thread, and I'm using the white color. You can also use the green color as well. Coming out the bottom here, you're going to grab 1 and 2 11/0s, 1 15/0, then one of your check leaves. Let's start bold and bright. I'll use the red. 1 15/0, followed by 1 and 2 11/0s. This is going to hang down, so we're coming back through those 3 11/0s that our thread is currently coming out of. Also, if you know right angle weave, this is a right angle weave unit. If you don't know it, don't worry about it. And that makes that leaf just hang down there. From here, you're going to go back up through the bead along the side. Now, like I said, you can do this with all the same size bead if you want. That's completely up to you. I'm going to change it up. Coming out the bead along the top, I'm going to use 1 and 2 11/0 seed beads, just like we did. And I'm going to do one more selection of the smaller ones before I go in and add my bigger beads. So I'm doing 1, 2, 3 of the 11/0s that go along the bottom. Coming out of the top of that rightmost 5mm bead, you're going into the bottom of that rightmost bead. From here, we're circling around through the 2 at the top, through the 2 along the side here, or the 1 along the side, and out the 3 at the bottom. When I come out the 3 at the bottom, I add 1 and 2 11/0s, 1 15/0, pick up my next funky bead, 1 15/0, 2 11/0s, and I'm circling back through those 3mm or those 3 11/0 seed beads that my thread is coming out of. Back up through that 4, 5, 6mm, whichever one you want to use, bead, across the top through those 2 beads. And you always want to be coming out the rightmost bead and down. Now we're going to switch into our bigger beads. So I'm going to go in right now and use my 6mm, followed by one of my 5s, followed by a 6. I'm going to go back into the bead that my thread is currently coming out of, make a little right angle weave unit. Because I see more thread, I'm going to take the time to put an 11/0 seed bead in between each one of these beads. Now, why didn't I do that first? I didn't do that first because I want them to sit really close together. This just kind of fills in that space rather than adds to the space in between. Going through each one of those, adding in the 11/0s. To add my leaf to the bottom of this one, or dagger or whatever drop you want, you're going to go through that 6mm bead and out after adding in all of those 11/0s. And I'm going to pop that 11/0 that's in there just kind of to the front. so it has a front focus. From here, I'm going to change up the drop a little bit. 115, followed by 2 of my 11s, followed by a 15. So 15 before and after, followed by 15, 2 11s, and a 15. And then once again, back through that bead that your thread is currently coming out of. So I'm going back through that 6mm bead. Once you're back through there, that's it. You're just going to continue on. I'm going to continue on. So I'm going every other bead here, going out through that 5mm bead there. I'm going to add, coming out the top, 2 seed beads, 1 more 5, 3 seed beads, circle around and add that drop and continue on. As I continue on, the pattern gets longer and like magic, look, I'll add those together with another one there. You start to get that fun curvature and all of those different colors. And it's almost reversible that one side, because the leaves are all different colors, well, it might look one way and one side might look the other way. So again, you're going in and just doing the pattern of that 6 O's and then your selection of your 4mm along with seed beads, then your 6 O's, then your 4mm along with seed beads. Once you have the length as long as you want it, what you're going to do is we're going to get ready to just do the sides with seed beads. I don't want to overdo it. I just want it to be really more so like a collar here at the top. So I'm just going to do seed beads along the side. If you want to, you can even add in the check beads. Maybe I'll add 1 or 2. But coming out the top of the last bead, all I'm going to do is start stringing my necklace design, which is going to be on the left. We're going to come back through, add some seed beads here along the top to close that up a little bit, and then do the same thing on the right. If you want to, you can keep going with this design, adding in more of your leaves and everything, and keep making it the whole way around the collar. Again, I want the focus to be around the front here, so I'm going to start my seed beads along the top here. So I'm just going to go in and coming out the top of that last bead there, which I did on the last bead, just like I did the first, where I didn't start the larger beads until it's the second drop of leaf. Here I'm going to do 1 and 2, and then maybe I'll do another one of those 6mm just to kind of bring that design back. And I'll do 6 more beads, 1 of these, and then just go back to regular seed beads. Once you're done the side of your necklace, again, I just used 1 bead and then a bunch of seed beads. And I'm going to add my clasp or closure. If you want to, you can use wire guards. That's completely up to you. I'm going right into my infinite clasp there. And I'm going to go in through the loop of the infinite clasp. And I'm coming back down the project. Now you're going to say, wait a second, you're not reinforcing. You're right. I'm not, because I'm coming back one more time. So I'm going to go down through the project here, all the way back down through all of these seed beads till we get to the bottom of the necklace design. Also, one thing to keep in mind with these infinite clasps is that the loops at the end are soldered shut. If you have a clasp that does not have soldered shut loops, I would definitely recommend using a wire guard or wire guarding because your thread can easily slip through there. So I'm going through right now, reinforcing all that thread here. And we're going to get ready to add basically beads to the top of our collar portion in the front. You want to make sure that you are not missing any seed beads as you go through. You can always do something a little bit more fun and funky, doing peyote stitch along the side or some right angle weave or even some leather would look fantastic with this design with these nice fall colors. And here, going back through. There's so many different Potomac picks and things that you can use to drop down from the center of this design. So I like how versatile this one is for that. Okay, coming back down through, I'm going right back down through that 6mm bead. Right at the top here, I'm going to come out through the seed beads. Now remember, the seed beads came right out after the 5mm bead. So they're kind of off to almost the top. What we're going to do, and you can see I tied on thread there. It was kind of a nice spot to do that. I'm actually going to burn down my thread edges just to get them out of the way for now. What we're going to do is go in the top here and link together the top of the design. Now, that being said, you can choose how much you want to bring it together and how much you want to keep it apart. If you want to keep it apart far, you'll use 11s. If you want to bring it and have a little curvature, you're going to hop to those 15s. I'm going to use 15s to connect. However, this first one, I'm going to use an 11-0. Then I'm going to sew into, 11-0. Then we're going to sew along the top the 2 seed beads that go right along the top. Adding in a 15 to get a little bit of that curvature through the next 2 seed beads. Right here along the top then, we're going to sew through the 11-0 seed bead that we put in between the 6s, through the 6 and out the 11-0 on the opposite side. Here, I'm going to add a 15. Oops, I'm sorry, I forgot a 15 right there. I'm going to have to go back. Now, this is a lesson in, it's not a great idea to sew back through the project. Your needle is likely, or your thread is likely to get caught. So I'm kind of holding fingers there. Oh, it made it out. Good. Okay. 15 goes on, then through that 11, 6mm 11. Then again, there's that little break there. 15-0 goes on through the next 2 11-0 seed beads that are there along the top. 15-0 goes on through the next 11, 6, 11. 15-0 on. So you can see all you're doing is putting a 15-0 basically before and after that group of 2 seed beads. Again, if you wanted to sit really spread out, you can use an 11-0 in that place, or you can just go to the other side of your collar. You don't need to link them together. I want to show you as I'm working on it though, how that link together kind of finishes out that top bar as you're working on it. So I'm going to go the whole way here to the opposite side, adding in the 15-0s, make a matching section of my seed beads on the opposite side using my infinite clasp on the opposite side. Cute little idea. You could also use it on the side of the design, make it asymmetrical. And then we're going to come back down through the project, reinforcing one more time, and going back to the end and reinforce again. When getting to the opposite side, just so it matches in the angle, basically, of the way that the cord comes out, what I'm going to do is go through my 5mm bead. Then I'm going to go through my seed beads here, just to circle around one more time. Go up through here. Come back out through. And I know I'm in the same position, but now when I come back, I can go right down into the 6 and then pop back up. So it kind of reinforces that area. From here, go in and add my extra 11-0, picturing that there's more seed beads there to then start going through. And now I just add my extra, move that stop bead out of the way. Now I add my extra grouping of seed beads to match the opposite side to finish up the necklace portion. After doing this second side and going through with that second strand there, I'm coming out right at the base of those seed beads that I added, and I'm going down, like I said, to get that same kind of fit and feel down into that 6mm bead. Remember that starter thread is there, so I'm going to want to end my thread going back around here and circling back around through. I can bring my thread over. Now I did say on the first side, if you wanted to reinforce, you could totally go back through the others to the other side. The other thing you can do if you want to is just loop back through the thread one more time, coming out the seed bead here, jump from the second seed bead back up to the first and loop around. Here I am right along the side. I'm going to take that stop bead off because I'm not going to worry about coming back to this side. Tie this off. And then after you reinforce and go back to the opposite side, if you want to, you can tie that thread off just by itself along the side. If you're like me and you're fine just having that one strand through, because I know the dragon thread is nice and stiff, I'm going to go in and burn down the thread edge right near this end. Now I did use white thread, but I should have used green to match a little bit better. It's just what I had and started out with. Once you have that done then, you have that fun little collar section along with the beads here. You are ready for fall and the fall colors, the Pantone colors of this year in all those nice browns and goldens and green and orange colors. Thanks so much for joining me in creating this swirl leaf drop necklace. Remember, so many different things can be used. There's a lot of fun Potomac picks. You could even drop down Athena cast and really make a fun drop necklace. This again is perfect for fall with its bright greens and blues and oranges and reds, which you don't see because of the green screen behind me. But if you want to share pictures of yours on our Facebook group for beading and jewelry making, that would be amazing. Hopefully you get inspired by this design and go for it with your own. If you want to also, if you haven't yet, hit that little subscribe button so you don't miss anything from us here at Potomac Beads. Thanks so much for watching, and I can't wait to see your designs.